Let's talk about Dean Huijsen for a minute, because there's a bit of breaking news on this one that said Liverpool are confident of striking a deal for Dean Huijsen. Liverpool have held positive talks with his agent, and there's optimism. Huijsen's camp view Anfield as the likely destination. That comes from Dean Jones Soccer via Gimme Sport. So credit to those guys for the piece. I told you guys 3 days ago what I called an exclusive here on the channel, and I noticed nobody picked up on it anywhere, but I told you where his preference was, and that was to come to Liverpool. I did say that it was far from a done deal and that there was plenty of work still to be done, but like I said, all this Chelsea guff is just Chelsea putting out there to try and make sure that favourable coverage goes towards them. But Liverpool are very much in the hunt for Dean Huijsen's signature, as of course are Arsenal and Chelsea and other clubs. But I've said to you, I believe he wants to be at Liverpool. I believe he wants to play alongside and learn from Virgil, and we're very much in the hunt. So keep an eye on this one as the summer develops. Huijsen and Kirkes, or FSG out, said Alex Macklin. Well, look, there is a lot of optimism around those two signings coming to Liverpool. Kirkes, I would think, is probably the one I would say is most likely. But again, it's transfer time. Anything can happen. My concern with this summer is how long we wait to sell somebody before making a move. So, for instance, let's say we have a centre-forward target that we want. Is it going to be somebody that's in demand, who, if we hang around too long, maybe we lose? Or is it somebody who knows the situation and is willing to be patient for Liverpool to sell Darwin or whomever it might be? That's the interesting part of this window to me, versus what we get done quickly and early. So consensus is centre forward, left back, probably the two most demanding positions we need to sign. But then again, we probably have to make a sale in both those departments as well. Bruno the Cruz said, talking is cheap, actions speak louder than words. Absolutely. And this is why I've been so willing to just sit back and say, right, well, let's see what happens, because everyone's painted themselves into a corner. We've been told there's the plan A, B, and C. We've been told Hughes and Edwards are, absolute geniuses with little black books with contacts that you wouldn't believe. So let's see them start putting these contacts to use in our favour. Because if that happens, brilliant. We'll all be delighted about it. If it doesn't happen, it's going to be a lot of frustrated Liverpool fans. But you know what? I do think we'll go a good part of the way to get the business done this summer. But I don't know if this is my greed, but I still feel like we'll be left somewhat wanting in certain departments. Like, we'll get 70% of what we need to get done, and the other 30% we'll get an excuse for. So I guess it'll be a matter of how much we'd be happy about that or not. I heard Man City going for Kirkes as well. Yeah, their name has been mentioned, but again, a lot of groundwork being done there by Liverpool. And I can't say this enough times, but Manchester City have a lot of headaches hanging over them that needs to be resolved as well. So let's wait and see there. So the hype around Liverpool transfer window. Let me read this out again. The hype around Liverpool transfer window. What's it got to do with Hughes knowing the two players in question, or FSG ready to spend the cash? From my understanding of the two signings there that came in to Bournemouth, Andoni Iraola was apparently more responsible for Kirkes than Hughes, from my understanding. Now, with regards to Dean Huijsen, I don't know. It's just speaking with somebody before, much closer to Kirkes' side. Apparently, it was more down to do with Iraola. But look, Arne Slot would know a lot about him as well, because he was at AZ Alkmaar, I think, before he went to Bournemouth. Now, if I'm wrong on that, I apologise, but I think it was AZ. And yeah, again, let's wait and see what happens, Stevie boy. Now, again, I'm trying to be fair about this window. I'm not expecting a 300 million net spend. As long as we feel like we've upgraded in the positions, I don't really care how much money spent or how little money spent. It's all to do with getting the right squad for me. So if you brought in silly money for players that aren't going to make it at Liverpool and reinvest that in better players for less money, I'm not going to sit here and complain about that. But we have to see what happens first. So, example, if we sell Darwin for 60 and bring in Akitika for 60, and Akitika goes and scores 25 next season, I'm not going to complain about the fact that we didn't have to add money on top of that, or much money on top of it, So I'm willing to be fair in my analysis of these things, but yeah, I do want to see action and not procrastination. Craig, it's been a year almost, but haven't seen much of scouting work from Richard Hughes at DJ. Well, you know what? My mindset is let's wait and see. And I'm sorry I keep saying that, but I'm hopeful that during that year, everything has been put together. So Arne's had time to assess the squad. So check. Arne will know what he wants. The lads have had a chance to get their feet under the table, speak with the scouting, look into the data, and put together their plan of action for the summer. For the summer. So we've had all year to do it. 2 contract extensions were done throughout the year for the first teamers. Other than that, you would imagine they've been spending their entire time looking and planning for the summer. So no excuses. Could make the deal for Liverpool even more attractive for Dean Huijsen because of what Florian Plettenberg said. So he said, what makes the release clause for Dean Huijsen even more interesting is that the £50 million doesn't have to be paid immediately. It has been contractually agreed that the clause can be paid in 3 instalments. All interested clubs have been informed of this. Talks with several clubs are ongoing. No decision has been made. So basically, clubs can klarna this. Clubs can pay it in 3 instalments, which makes it easier. Because if you have to trigger a release clause in one go, a lot of the time that's a big chunk of money coming out of a club. So to be able to do this in 3 stages certainly appeals to, I'm sure, a lot of clubs. So again, I think that's another reason in the likely column for us, because we love doing that, don't we? We love triggering a release clause, but if you can spread it over a few years, nothing wrong with that either. Whatever works best accounting wise for the club, but at least we know it's possible and it's into the contract. I just hope Huijsen would be willing enough to be a rotation player. Well, I wonder there, Chris. There is a very good chance he wouldn't have to be because, and again, I take no pleasure in saying this, but the Ibrahima Konate situation is one that we should be concerned about as fans. No breakthrough. According to multiple reports from the likes of Romano and I think even Paul Joyce, no good vibes coming around it, no new breakthrough in those conversations, and it's gone very, very cold. So there could be a world where he's sold and Huijsen's brought in. There could also be a world where, and again, we covered this last night, Kwanzaa's either loaned or sold and Huijsen's brought in. But either way, I don't think it would be a difficult sell because we would have time. We got lucky with centre-back injuries this year. But Dean Huijsen will have to be shown that there is a developmental plan for him. There's no denying that. He went to Bournemouth to develop and he's done so well. And the next stage of his career, he'll want the same. I think we can offer him that, to be fair. So I don't see that being a huge issue in the conversation. I am still concerned about Konate, though, because nobody seems to know where the club's head's at with it. And again, nobody seems to know where Ibu's head's at with it either.